This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Winnipeg police are taking another step they hope helps heal past wounds with the city's Indigenous community. They have hired a new advisor with the goal of making Indigenous people feel safer, heard, and respected. But as the CBC's Gavin Axelrod reports, some observers say they need to see results, and accomplishing that will take time.
Sheila North is the Winnipeg Police Service's first external Indigenous relations advisor, a role intended to provide insight, advice, and guidance to the service's leadership on strategic efforts involving Indigenous people.
So I know that there is a lot of work to do to repair some of these relationships that have gone astray for many generations. But we also know that policing and the role of policing is very important.
North has been critical of police in the past, including in her work as a Grand Chief and as a journalist, including at CBC. She says that's why the external aspect of the role is important.
If I'm not willing to help, then I can't criticize.
Police Chief Gene Bowers has vowed to, quote, heal past wounds with Winnipeg's Indigenous community. He said this new role has been an idea of his for a long time.
So that all Indigenous people are heard, feel valued, and most importantly, are safe.
Police Board member Damon Johnston says that it will take time to accomplish that.
The future for us is really important, and so the effort to mend relationships is on the good side of the equation with many of us. We want to.
Longtime advocate Hilda Anderson-Pierce agrees it's an important step in the right direction, but says it can't be a performative gesture.
Relationships have been very strange. Many people have witnessed the systemic and structural racism along with police brutality.
In 2024, her nephew James Wood died after an encounter with Winnipeg police. Several witnesses told CBC News police used excessive force in the encounter. The 35-year-old's death is under investigation by the police watchdog.
I'm always open to mechanisms that can create change, and improve outcomes for Indigenous populations. But I say proceed with caution, watch and see, look for results that have impact on the ground.
North says her role will be on an as-needed basis and isn't worried about losing her ability to speak out. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A man is facing charges after Winnipeg police allege he committed sex acts on his cats. And you may find some of the details that I'm about to share with you disturbing. Police say they were notified in June about a 19-year-old man needing care for injuries that he received from an animal in his care. They allege the man had committed sexual acts on cats in his home, one of which resulted in his injuries. 3 cats were removed from his home and taken to the Humane Society. The man was arrested on Sunday on counts of bestiality, causing unnecessary suffering to an animal, and inflicting serious injury or harm. He was released to appear in court at a later date. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is finding its way into everyday life. But is there a limit to how and where the technology can be used? What about in something as personal as a session with your therapist? And as the CBC's Felicia Adam reports, it is now becoming common for therapists to use an AI assistant during sessions.
So now it's finished, so just for this, we'll click View. And this is the data, so the information that was talked about during our conversation.
With the click of a button, an hour-long therapy session can be summarized. Treatment plans and patient assessments auto-generated.
That looks good.
Gavin Patterson has been using an AI-powered note-taking tool for almost a year.
When I'm working with clients one-on-one, I'm able to free myself of writing down everything and be fully present in the conversation.
Once Patterson has consent from his patients, he turns on Clinical Notes AI, which listens in and transcribes sessions in real time. He says all 160 of his patients are okay with its use, and transcripts are deleted once patient progress is logged, saving him hours he would otherwise use writing clinical notes.
It gives me a lot of brain power back, and it helps me deliver a higher product of service.
He's just one of a few therapists in Winnipeg using AI-powered transcribing tools. And while the program he uses does not record audio or video, others do, like Jane. The software stores the recording and is only deleted once the clinician does so manually. But even after that, it stays in its system for 7 days.
I'm not comfortable enough with my personal information, my personal stories being monitored by an AI engine.
19-year-old Riley Gerard is worried about her privacy if the AI is brought into her therapy sessions.
I don't know who owns that information, I don't know where all of that is kind of going. I'm just more comfortable with it's written down where my therapist has it, and I trust her with that information.
It's actually easier than even hacking into a website.
Anne Kavukian is the head of a data protection agency. She says the risk of sensitive information getting into the wrong hands is even higher with AI. She's advocating for more regulations.
Medical data, therapeutic data, this is the most sensitive data that exists. So you have to ensure that no unauthorized third parties can gain access to this information.
Clinical psychologist Peter Beeling agrees with those concerns, but says the use of AI could improve care and remove memory bias.
There's things that they're going to remember, there's things that they're going to forget. And in that sense, a scribe, it would listen the whole time.
The province says there are currently no regulations when it comes to the use of AI in healthcare and therapy settings. Beeling and Kavukian say now is the time to put them in place. Felicia Adam, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Some Winnipeggers in the Garden City area are scratching their heads after someone made off with their downspouts. Video shows a van pulling up in front of garages with someone in a black hoodie getting out, as you can see there, and stealing the downspouts right off of the home. A resident tells CBC at least 10 houses along their street had their spouts disconnected and stolen. Winnipeg police say they are aware of the thefts and are investigating. A fertilizer mixing and storage facility in Beausejour is facing some opposition to its application for an environmental license. The business hasn't had one for the over 50 years it's been operating. Now it's surrounded by residential development, which has caused concern among some residents and the town itself. The CBC's Justin Fiacconi brings us the story.
It's a lot more dangerous to live beside a gas station than it is to live beside a fertilizer plant.
Eddie Volmering is the manager of the Murky Bros bulk material handling facility. The business has been in operation at its current location in Beausejour for over 50 years. It's a small, family-owned business that primarily blends, stores, and handles fertilizer and seed grains. Though it has capacity to store chemicals like urea, phosphate, ammonium sulfate, and others. After an inspection in 2024, the licensing process was initiated.
Yes, somebody said that had stopped by and made it known that it was a requirement. So then, we're doing our due diligence to make sure that we're in current compliance.
Until now, the business didn't need an environmental license because provincial regulations requiring one didn't come into effect until long after it had been in operation. However, it's facing some opposition in getting one. Ray Sherrill is the mayor of Beausejour. He has some concerns given the facility's close proximity to homes.
We got some concerns about the safety of having that facility in our community between the dust and flammables and stuff like that.
The town of Beausejour is opposed to the issuance of an environmental license to the fertilizer plant at its existing location. They say they've had ongoing issues with the facility not complying with fire code requirements for proper storage of chemicals, and that they've shown a disregard of spill containment and the potential health and safety risks to surrounding communities.
We just want to make sure that there isn't a concern if there is a fire there, how it would impact our residents and the safety concerns. We just want to make sure that our residents are safe.
Volmering says that the town's opposition to their environmental license application took him by surprise. While he doesn't know when they'll get a decision, he expects the license to be granted and for operations to continue as normal. The province has said that as long as the facility operates in accordance with the Environmental Act license, they have no concerns about its continued operations. Justin Fiacconi, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Boy, oh boy, what a difference a day makes. After a hot weekend with temperatures well above seasonal for this time of the year over the weekend, certainly a shift to more fall-like weather as we've gotten throughout the day. Today, let's get a first check on our forecast with weather specialist Helena Mahalik.
It was a beautiful long weekend. We saw a good stretch of some 30-degree weather, especially on Labor Day, where we even broke heat records up north. Let's take a look at just how hot it got. Places like Thompson got up to 32 degrees. We haven't had a day this hot on the 31st since 1983. Same thing with places like Norway House getting up to 31 degrees. Haven't had an August 31st this hot since 1996. As for Tuesday, things have definitely changed. A low front has come in and temperatures hovering below 20 degrees. In the north, even closer to 10 degrees. Wednesday, we are going to be starting off our day pretty chilly, and temperatures won't be getting much hotter than that, despite the sun being out for most of the day. It'll be a bit breezy as well, with winds gusting north at up to 30 kilometers an hour. And Riley, I'll have your full forecast coming up next.
All right, thanks, Selena. Still ahead, the Manitoba government eyes a possible permanent evacuation site in the province. More on where and when it could be used when we come back. Welcome back. The province of Manitoba is looking at a shuttered institution as a possible permanent evacuation site. Over the summer, wildfires forced tens of thousands of people from their communities. Thousands remain out of their homes now, and there weren't enough hotel rooms to go around. Premier Wab Kinew says the former Manitoba Developmental Centre, or MDC, in Portage La Prairie has hundreds of cottages and suites available. He says it could become a permanent evacuation centre.
By the end of this wildfire season, by the end of the state of emergency, we were housing evacuees in there. And now I think at the end of this season, and part of that internal review we're going to look at is, okay, now that we've reactivated this facility and got it into a condition where it can house people, what are we going to use that for?
Kinew says the future of the MDC is still under discussion because it could also be used to alleviate the current housing crisis. Speaking of housing, the Progressive Conservatives are taking aim at Manitoba's housing and homelessness strategy, saying it needs an overhaul. It comes as the Manitoba government says it's helped 77 people move out of encampments into housing, while a census released last week found about 2,500 are without homes in Winnipeg. The PC's deputy leader called the province's claims of being on track to end homelessness a broken promise.
The NDP committed to eliminating chronic homelessness in 2 terms. 2 years into that, and the problem is worse than it has ever been.
For its part, the province said in January it plans to spend $20 million over the next 2 years buying apartment buildings to turn into 300 social housing units. A new school in South Winnipeg is ready to welcome its first batch of students this week. École Sage Creek Bonavista is a brand new French immersion K-8 school. It can accommodate almost 800 students from the Sage Creek and Bonavista neighborhoods, along with 80 staff. Principal Cam Johnson says the school was built with the latest modern design and cutting-edge technology.
Lots of capacity. That's what's been really fun to be a part of. Is divisionally and the construction company, the architects, our immediate staff. It's all kind of comes together really nice. And we're here. We're ready to go. We're ready to open on when kids are here now meeting their teachers, and then on Thursday when we go full on.
Johnson says he looks forward to introducing students from both the Sage Creek and Bonavista neighborhoods to French language education. Indigenous leaders from across the country are in Winnipeg for the Assembly of First Nations Annual General Assembly. The chiefs say they have many critical issues to discuss this week, including expectations of the Building Canada Act. National Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Nepenak says they'll also get an update on the settlement involving discrimination within First Nations Child and Family Services. She says the $23 billion settlement package is starting to flow to survivors.
In March of this year, of course, we opened that claims portal, and 5 months later, now we have received 4,000 applications, and the first payments are starting to roll out as of last week.
Woodhouse-Nepenak says the upcoming federal budget will also be discussed. More than 100 mourners gathered at a memorial in Winnipeg on Monday to mark the life of Stefan Schottlevic. The Norwegian hiker's body was found last month along the banks of the Hayes River. A search for the man had been underway in the area after he failed to arrive in York Factory as expected. The CBC's Gavin Axelrod was there.
Mourners take turns paying their respects to Stefan Schottlevic. A funeral service was held in Winnipeg Monday afternoon. The Norwegian hiker died trekking from northern Ontario to northern Manitoba.
His footsteps reached across the oceans. It reached into the northern wilderness and deep into the hearts of Indigenous communities here in Canada.
His family traveled to Canada to retrace those steps. His sister spoke about his sense of adventure.
Even though Stefan knew about the risks, nothing could stop him. To have that passion and to let it lead you should be an example to follow for all of us.
Schottlevic settled in Peewanik, a fly-in northern Ontario community, in 2023. That's where he met Jeannie Hunter and her family. Georgina Wabineau is one of her daughters. She says they considered him as one of their siblings.
The beautiful thing about Stefan, he loved the land and the way
the way of our people, our culture.
The 29-year-old left on foot with his 2 dogs from Fort Severn in late July near Hudson Bay in northern Ontario, attempting a 300-kilometer journey to York Factory in Manitoba. Shotovic was reported missing in mid-August. His family was thankful to searchers who found his body on August 24th along the banks of the Hayes River where he drowned.
He became a bro. He called me his big brother, and we watched out for each other. I had to give him discipline, and he gave me discipline.
And I sincerely mean this from my heart, that I just feel at one with him and his family, even though we're from different cultures. And I believe his story is just going to go way beyond what we see right now.
Shotovic will be buried in Norway, but his family says they will always hold Canada close. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Time for another check on your forecast. We're talking about the heat and a bit of humidity that we saw in some parts of the province over the weekend. Also saw some thunderstorms with reports of some hail in the Swan River region as we got through the afternoon yesterday. And Helena, some parts of the province also saw rain.
It was a beautiful long weekend, but we did also have some active weather on Labor Day in the form of rainfall. So let's take a look at just how much rain we got. Places around Zoda got anywhere from 20 to 25 millimeters of rainfall with a system that passed through on Monday. Places closer to Winnipeg, like Steinbeck, got anywhere from 10 to 13 millimeters of rainfall, so a good amount of moisture with that one system alone. Tuesday, we've seen that system has moved out, maybe a sprinkle of showers in the southwest, but mainly cloudy skies. However, in the next few days, we are going to expect that rainfall to continue. By Thursday morning, another system is rolling through, bringing us a heavier amount of rainfall. It's really only going to last for that one day, and by Friday, we're seeing mainly a sprinkle of showers, but that system has passed through and just seeing mainly cloudy skies. A system is going to bring us a lot of rainfall, though, and places in the north could get up to 20 millimeters. Areas closer to Winnipeg going to get around 10 millimeters. It will be not the warmest day for dog walking. If you want to be like Sully, you might want to wear a cap. Thank you to Stephen from Brandon for submitting this photo of Sully. If you'd like to submit a photo of your pet, you can email talkback@cbc.ca. Temperatures not going to be too hot for walking your dog. Might not want to wear shorts. We're only seeing up to 12 degrees for our daytime highs. And there is a slight chance of rainfall Wednesday as well, making our overnight lows a bit cooler too. But Thursday will definitely be our coolest day, with temperatures hovering just around 10 degrees and a good chance of rainfall on that day as well. So a good 10 degrees below seasonal. And as we get to Friday, we're seeing a return to temperatures in the mid-teens, but again, not too hot, still a good amount below seasonal. And we do have another chance of rainfall on this day as well. Our overnight lows are going to be returning closer to seasonal on these days. And Riley, I'll have a look at your full 7-day forecast coming up soon.
All right, thanks, Elena. You're looking at a taste of Manitoba, which wrapped up Monday at Fort Gibraltar, bringing together local food, culture, and community spirit. Looks delicious. We'll be back right after this. Overseas tonight, Afghanistan has been shaken by a strong aftershock. It hit close to the epicenter of Sunday night's deadly earthquake. The weekend's quake caused widespread destruction in 2 provinces in eastern Afghanistan. The Taliban government says the number of dead has now topped 1,400, with more than 3,000 others injured. And there are fears those totals will only grow, with many more believed to be trapped under the rubble. The remoteness of the mountain communities is also hampering rescue and relief missions. Here in Winnipeg, Afghans have been glued to their phones for updates, wondering how to help, all while feeling hopeless. The CBC's Ian Fraze brings us local reaction.
Entire towns in eastern Afghanistan reduced to rubble. The earthquake hit late Sunday night. For some, survival hinged on being awake.
People could make out of the house, they're safe. The people who couldn't, who were sleeping, they have been died.
Abdul Farid Ahmed was a journalist back in Afghanistan. Now, the Winnipegger is frantically searching for information about the magnitude 6 quake. He says one friend is lucky only 3 family members are hurt, but he knows of someone else facing the death of 11 loved ones.
He don't know where to go because he said that all the family members were young and they couldn't escape. Children, women, old people.
As of Tuesday, at least 1,400 people are dead, another 3,000 injured. Ahmad worries help is hard to come by.
The international communities and the humanitarians cannot go to Afghanistan because most of their worker or staffs are women, and Taliban do not allow women to go to the area.
I don't see any sign of a government to help these people.
Ariana Yaftali says the quake is another blow to a country under Taliban rule hit by a serious earthquake in 2023.
They didn't need that, another event which will kill and injure people.
She's been hearing from other Afghans in Canada scrambling to do their part.
They want to help, they want to donate, they want to even donate money, but we want that money and those support goes to the right organization.
She's pleading with the feds and other humanitarian agencies to send relief to Afghanistan quickly. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Meantime, in Sudan, a landslide has destroyed an entire village, killing nearly everyone who lived there. The slide was triggered by weeks of torrential rain in the central Darfur region. Journalist Naba Mohedin has more from Sudan's capital.
An entire village was wiped out by the recent landslide in Jabal Marra. More than 1,000 people got killed in Tersin village. It was totally destructed by the landslide. Only one survivor was recorded, according to Sudanese People's Liberation Movement, Abdel Wahid Mohamed Noor leadership, and also the Sudanese government. This very painful incident took place on Sunday, but it was announced on Monday by SPLM Abdel Wahid Mohamed Noor wing. This landslide is a threat to wider population. Many villages around this area in Jabal Marra are under threat of such landslides. This area particularly is living in very poor infrastructure. It's also a very vulnerable to erosions and landslides because of heavy rains, torrential rains, and also the geological formation of area because it's formed out of volcanic rocks, and also the lack of dense vegetation is reducing soil cohesion and leads to more slides and leads to erosion in this area. Rescue efforts are still underway, but also there is some hopes that people can be evacuated from nearby villages because humanitarian activities are many there. Efforts are needed from international community and also from the Sudanese government, which is now battling with the rapid support forces. 6 out of 8 localities in Jabal Marra are under control of the RSF, and this area particularly is under control of SPLM. So urgent intervention by international community and by the Sudanese government and RSF is needed to help thousands of people who are in need and living very vulnerable situation amid a very dire humanitarian crisis in Jabal Marra and in Darfur region generally. Naba Muhiddin for CBC News. Khartoum, Sudan.
Back in this country, a group of Chinese international students is accusing Immigration Canada of discrimination and lack of transparency over their study permit applications. The lawyer representing the graduate students has filed a case in federal court to force the agency to make a decision on the permits as fast as possible. The CBC's Thomas Dagla has the details.
At UBC and other campuses across Canada, there will be Chinese graduate students missing from class. Dozens enrolled in science, tech, and math programs like Yisin Chang, left waiting 16 months so far for a Canadian study permit that would typically take 4 weeks, according to Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada.
The biggest loss for me is the 1 year time. Like, how much would you pay for like 1 year in your 20s? It's priceless.
This immigration lawyer in Toronto is representing 25 Chinese students with similar stories.
This is the student that has been waiting the longest.
He's filing a case in federal court demanding immigration officials explain the holdup.
The decision-making process was not transparent because the students was not told why an extensive security check was required in their specific circumstances.
In court documents, the lawyer blames an extensive security check done by Canada Border Services Agency and CSIS. All of it, he says, may be related to a case in 2023 when the federal court barred a Chinese student from a Canadian engineering program, ruling he could be pressured by Beijing into spying.
I think they're being treated discriminately here.
I guess I'm not really surprised.
This former CSIS director says it stands to reason the intelligence service is giving a closer look to would-be graduate students from China.
It does seek to use its Chinese who are working abroad or studying abroad to the advantage of China.
No matter their intentions, Li Zhang and others are left in limbo.
Canada closed the door to the China.
Canada's Immigration Department acknowledges some students are experiencing longer wait times for processing, but a spokesperson insists all applicants are subject to the same screening, no matter what country they're from. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
The mother of a 4-year-old who was fatally injured at a horse racing track in New Brunswick says she is still waiting for answers. Police have said a child was struck by a gate while standing near the track, but as Rachel Cave reports, the boy's mother says no one is talking to her about the incident.
I love being their mom, and that's pretty much what I center myself around, is being their mom and loving on them.
Cora Fraser grieves for her son, who died in her arms in hospital. Gunnar Dickinson was days away from turning 4. A curious and happy kid, he'd gone to the races for the first time.
It's the second race.
Fraser was not at the track. The kids had gone with other family. But she has watched the broadcast over and over. Gunnar was at the fence.
We need an ambulance. Call an ambulance, please, to the grandstand.
Police said Gunnar was struck by the gate. Fraser raced to town and was just in time to hold him at the end.
He was in the CAT scan room, and they were trying to keep him stable enough to do a CAT scan. But he kept coding, to my knowledge. His heart just couldn't take it.
Everybody stand back. Connell Park Raceway is owned by the town of Woodstock, and races are organized by the local driving club. Racing was suspended for 7 weeks, pending a safety review, which the town will not release. The mayor said in a statement that safety enhancements were the result of reviews done independently by the Atlantic Province's Harness Racing Commission and Horse Racing New Brunswick. But the commission won't release the report. Neither it nor Horse Racing New Brunswick would answer CBC's questions. The town put up new fencing and signage. New signs are also up in Charlottetown and Truro, Nova Scotia. Meanwhile, people continue to lean on or over the fencing at tracks across Canada.
We will not be releasing.
Woodstock police have yet to tell the family what they concluded and whether they ruled out negligence.
Certainly not saying that that's the case here at all, because sometimes we bad things do happen, terrible accidents do happen.
Fraser wants the safety report and the police and coroner's reports.
Honestly, in this case, justice is such a loose term.
Fraser believes her son's death was preventable and that safety standards need to change if harness racing is really a family-friendly event.
That report from the CBC's Rachel Cave. Hundreds of thousands of Canadian children have started a new school year. Of course, tomorrow is the big day for most students here in Manitoba, tomorrow through Thursday. But classes began today in New Brunswick, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia. But there are some potential disruptions ranging from wildfires to a teacher's contract dispute in Alberta. There's also the issue of higher prices for supplies. 9 out of 10 parents tell the Retail Council of Canada that back-to-school costs feel more expensive than ever. Experts say prices here are also being impacted by Donald Trump's global trade war. Just a decade after 2 U.S. food giants merged into Kraft Heinz, the company now says it is splitting back up into 2 separate brands. The new companies have not yet been named. One will handle shelf-stable items like Kraft mac and cheese and Heinz sauces, spreads, and seasonings. The other will focus on refrigerated foods like Kraft singles and Lunchables. The move reverses much of the $46 billion merger in 2015, creating one of the biggest food companies in the world. It is a fitness craze that has people bouncing into shape, and for the person teaching, it's also giving her hope and community. We visit a Fit Boot fitness class a bit later in the show. Stay with us. The sport of flag football is getting set for its biggest stage yet. It is set to make its debut at the 2028 Olympic Games, thrusting the sport into the spotlight. Kwabena Oduro talked to kids at a summer camp in Montreal for tips from local pros.
On the University of Montreal's home field, kids developed their flag football skills with the help of some pros.
I love this sport. I played last year on the summer, and it's a passion now.
The CFL's Montreal Alouettes leading this camp for kids between the ages of 10 and 17.
I used to be a flag guy, so being able to come back and give back to the community is always a blessing to do, and drop jewels on the younger kids so they can learn how to progress their game is always a good feeling.
Players here are learning real game situations from this playbook, from the huddle to the formation to actually running the play and catching the ball like this.
So doing these things, like, it's more for fun. I'm here. It's a nice day. We're just having fun with friends and meeting new people. I'm learning new experiences with other people. I've been playing with boys for the first time.
Flag football's growing appeal is linked to its upcoming Olympic debut at the 2028 Los Angeles Games.
We've never had a football sport in the Olympics.
While professionals are allowed to play at the Olympics, the games conflict with the CFL season, leaving some doubt. But this Montreal Alouettes defensive lineman says if he got the call to play for Team Canada, he would accept in a heartbeat.
I think the first one merits a pretty good bang, and I would love to be a part of that history.
Football Quebec says these camps also help them find talent for the provincial and national teams.
It's getting there. I think it's getting there. Like we saw from Team Nationals, there's like 22 selection from Quebec and a few from out of Canada. So I think, Alberta's getting there, Saskatchewan's getting there. Yeah, I can't wait to see next championship.
Inspiration for the pros chasing the Olympics and the kids just starting to hone their skills. Kwabena Oduro, CBC News, Montreal.
Yesterday marked 45 years since Terry Fox laced up and ran his final miles in his fight against cancer. Terry Fox began his marathon of hope as a 22-year-old in 1980 after losing his leg to cancer. He started from St. John's with a planned final stop of Victoria, BC. Fox ran for 143 days, covering over 5,000 kilometers before he was forced to stop just east of Thunder Bay with the cancer returning to his lungs. He died in June of 1981. Since then, Canadians across the country have carried on his legacy, running every year for his cause and raising over $900 million for cancer research. This year's Terry Fox Run will take place on September 14th. Let's take a look at your Manitoba forecast now. And of course, we have been dealing with the air quality concerns across Manitoba throughout the summer months. And Helena Mahalik is back now. And Helena, parts of the country are going to be back under air quality statements in the coming days.
It's been a very smoky summer for the province of Manitoba. However, in the last few weeks, we have seen some relief, but that smoke may be coming back into the province. Let's take a look at where that smoke is headed. Over the next few days, we might see some air quality warnings start to pop up in the province. We're already starting to see some in Saskatchewan. We're not really going to see this smoke enter the province until about Thursday, where some heavier smoke plumes are going to be present up north. And we may see some smoke plumes as well for areas around Dauphin and Winnipeg. We're seeing this because the wind direction is shifting to a northerly flow, and we are seeing that the direction is favorable in pushing some of that smoke Wednesday down towards places like Winnipeg. We're not really seeing any wind pick up on Thursday, and so it really depends where that smoke lands on Wednesday, because the shift in direction is going to happen Thursday as well. Temperature-wise, we are seeing that low front coming through, and northerly winds are also making things quite chilly. We're seeing our reds and oranges disappear on our map, getting replaced with some yellows and greens. Temperatures are going to be in the mid-teens until the weekend, where we see a return to 20-degree temperatures. In southern Manitoba Tuesday night, temperatures feeling a little bit cool, and there is a slight chance of rainfall. We're seeing temperatures anywhere from 3 to 8 degrees. That 8-degree temperatures closer closer to areas like Winnipeg, and in the southwest, closer to about 5 degrees. In the north, some places even dipping below the freezing mark like Thompson. Other areas not getting any warmer than about 5 degrees. As we get into Wednesday, we will see mainly sunny skies, some cloudy temperatures as well. We're not really getting any hotter than about 10 to 12 degrees in the north. And in southern Manitoba, we're not going to see a warm day either. Despite that sun being out, we're only seeing temperatures really reach up to 14 degrees for areas closer to the Saskatchewan border. Areas around Winnipeg still going to be hovering just a few degrees above that 10-degree mark. So definitely a bit of a chillier start to the back-to-school season. And Riley, I'll have a look at your 7-day forecast coming up next.
Thanks, Helena. Oof, -1 overnight in Thompson. A Ukrainian newcomer who fled war in her country is bouncing back literally with springs on her feet. Through a new business, she's created a community that is not only burning a lot of calories, but at the same time making connections. Jim Agapito dropped in on a class to see what it's all about.
Marina, make sure I don't die. This is my present for you. Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm Irina Maximenko. I'm from Ukrainian. I'm a fitness coach in Winnipeg. On 22nd February 2022, I with my husband went on our honeymoon in Italy, and just after 2 days started the war. In Ukrainian, I had own company, private air travel on planes and helicopters, and we had so very beautiful life. But we saw on TV bomb hit building with our apartment, and we decided not to return in our country. Canada opened programs for Ukrainian people, and we got our visas and come here, and I started cleaner in hotel for dogs. After pregnant, I put on 27 kilograms, and my dreams to get fit again. I opened a women's community who wanted to play squash, and in 1 year, with me, 200 people lost weight. After this, I opened classes squash, and after this, fit boots.
Whenever you do not make fun of me, people.
Front, side, back, cross. Okay? Side, back, and twice jumping jack. Okay?
Okay, I will do my best.
4, 3, 2, 2 hands front. 1, 2, 3, 4. Full name Anna Belyaha. I couldn't find something like, not just for my body, but for my soul. Something would will relieve me, not just physically, but my mental. When I found these fit boots, I came first time, oh my God, I feel really amazing. It's like, you know, I can call this, like my husband said as well, it's mental vacation. Really, I'm more calm after that. I really spend a lot of energy here, and my mood is better, and even my forms is better.
My name is Libaba Leontieva. It's really exciting when you do it because you feel like you're flying. Honestly, it's like you're jumping, you're flying, and besides you're dancing. So something good combination with like, and for me, I'm doing it for my health. I really lost like 20 pounds in 4 months. I would say it's an incredible result for me. I never lost. It's a hard cardio to do. Just imagine that you're doing jumping jacks for 1 hour and then you're like non-stop. It's like crazy for sure. It's super hard.
Yeah, you are begging for a sip of water. Honestly, I'm just joking.
So you want to do more? It's always great to hear about success stories, right? And to flip it all around and to find community, what does that mean?
Well, I am incredibly proud of her, for sure. It fills my heart like full because it's really great, as I said, like then people, well, as the newcomers, they start all over again, their new life, they have to learn the new language, they have to start a new business, and they are successful. I am so proud of her, for sure.
My name is Yulia Samafau. Most important is support of the community.
So whenever there is Ukrainians or whoever starts something new and interesting, we always support you and encourage others.
I think you always must believe in you. Always. We lost a house, home, family, maybe friends.
Up, 1, 2, one more. Just 1, 2, finish.
Yes. You can only do it this moment.
So you're taking the moment.
Yep.
And how does that feel?
Now, amazing.
Looks like Jim had quite the workout there. Coming up, after almost a decade of paddling, an Ontario family achieves an ambitious goal. We'll show you that coming up in our Daily Lift. We're back right after this.
Temperatures are definitely feeling more like fall in this first week of September. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast for the city of Winnipeg. We are going to see a few days of rainfall, with our biggest day of rain being Thursday. That's also going to drop temperatures down closer to the 10-degree mark. Friday, we're seeing temperatures return back to the mid-teens. The sun is going to be out, but our overnight lows still going to be a little bit cooler as well. By Sunday, we're seeing a return to those 20-degree temperatures, and our overnight lows returning back to around 10 degrees. Into next week, another chance of some rainfall and temperatures hovering just above 20 degrees. So Riley, it'll be a bit of a chilly start to the back-to-school season.
Thanks, Helena. Maybe send the kids to school with the umbrella tomorrow for back to school. Well, after almost a decade of paddling every summer, a family from Guelph, Ontario has achieved an ambitious goal, canoeing from their hometown all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. Sep.2nd has more on their journey in our Daily Lift.
Okay, good to go.
In the Chute family, those who paddle together stay together. The family canoe team has just returned after the last part of their journey together through some of Canada's most beautiful waterways. Their goal was to ride the Speed River all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. After 9 summers of paddling, they're now back in Guelph, Ontario.
Being out on the water, it's magic.
The once-in-a-lifetime family trip started on the Speed River in 2017. Each summer, they took on a new leg of the trip before ending up in a little village on the outskirts of Quebec this year, greeted at the edge of the Atlantic Ocean by another special family of beluga whales. They're home now, safe and on dry land.
To be together 24/7, doing something hard, doing something beautiful, something meaningful, all of us together, was a tremendous privilege.
It is so heartwarming to think in this world of woe and horrible things happening, that there are these special moments.
They're already thinking of their next big canoe adventure for next year. Sep.2nd, CBC News, Guelph, Ontario.
Great way to see our country from a different perspective, and I bet they have really good upper arm strength from all of that paddling over the years. Thanks so much for being with us on this Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.